For David Coleman, it was a quick exit in 6th at event number 2. For Jeremy Ausmus, it was a 5th place finish in event number 4. Aram Zobian came close as a runner-up in the same event. And in event 5, Justin Saliba departed in 5th place. All of these pros are back for another chance to grab the trophy. It's the event 6 final table, and it starts now. Welcome to Aria, and more specifically, welcome to the PokerGO studio. It is raining outside. It is a bit chilly, but inside the PokerGO studio, it is very hot as the action starts heating up right now. It's the event 6 final table. It's a $15,000 buy-in, and we are going to see it through until we crown a winner in this event. Many familiar faces at today's final table, also familiar voices on the call. Jeff and Brent on PokerGO.com. My name is Remco Rinkema. Donnie Peters alongside me as we cover this event on YouTube and Twitch. 63 entries, 9 finished in the money, and the first prize, $302,400. Just before the final table last night, we lost Sam Soberl and Nick Schulman, and here's a look at our chip counts at today's final table. The two big names in 2024 so far, DeStefano and David Coleman, are our big stacks. Michael Brinkenhoff, maybe the wild card today. Jeremy Ausmus, Seth Davis, Justin Saliba, and Aram Zobian are all weathered professionals looking for another title inside this very studio. There he is, Michael Brinkenhoff, looking to show the young kids how it's done. David Coleman here on your screen. He is currently crushing everything he enters, already at his 7th final table of 2024. DeStefano not far behind. He's at his 6th final table of the year. So we got a who's who of the high roller poker scene clashing, and here are the payouts they are playing for. $37,800 is what they are all guaranteed, but of course it is all about the top prize of $302,400. Blinds coming into this first hand, 30K, 60K with a 60K big blind ante. Average stack is very shallow, Donnie. They played for a long time last night to get down to the final 7. They didn't even get down to 6. That's how long it took for them to decide to bag these chips up. Give me some observations about this final table.
Well, Aram Zobian's going to need to make something happen and make it happen pretty early here. For me, it's of course all eyes on David Coleman. I know he's not the chip leader, but the PGT leaderboard front runner, I mean, come on.
Yeah, Coleman and DeStefano, I called them the best of 2024. So far, they are doing it every single time they enter an event. It is very impressive. And I look forward to seeing them clash. Would be fun to see him go heads up.
A much higher level today than last night. Holy shit.
That was a long day.
You were kind of cooked last night. You were like
I was just so tired and a little burnt out. Yes.
I did a 14-hour day. Not common.
Seth Davis finds pocket tens here. Donnie, give me some thoughts here early on the ICM situation and run us through some of the stack sizes and how they will interact with each other.
Yeah, I mentioned Aram Zobian needing to make something happen early. He's only got 5, 6 big blinds, 5.5. So, you know, he's in the danger territory quite a bit, and because he's so short, I mean, you also have Justin Saliba, who's sub 10 big blinds. Because those two guys, you know, most specifically Zobian, are short. Some of the other guys that are in the middle here, you know, you have Seth Davis, you have Jeremy Ausmus, you have Michael Brinkenhoff, you know, they might not want to just kind of go crazy. David Coleman as well.
Do you play it?
On the upper end of the leaderboard, Stefano, I mean, he's got a nice chip lead here, pretty sizable over the rest of the pack. So
all Europeans play
if all the players kind of get out of the way, or if he's the first one to enter a pot, then I think he could certainly open things up quite a bit and really look to leverage the stacks of, you know, his other opponents.
Is that the one they have
guys right in the middle?
No, that's like racquetball.
Racquetball.
Yeah, or like squash or something.
Racquetball seems fun though.
Yeah.
Can I get $15 from you? Yeah, that's all good.
DeStefano with the sports coat and the long hair flowing. This guy is really creating an image for himself, and I'm all here for it. I love it.
My ribs all just felt shit.
You know who,
young gun too. He's only 26.
You know who he makes me think of?
3 sets of 12.
Dutch violinist André Rieu, who is an international star. Donnie, you got to admit, there is a bit of a resemblance here.
He needs a violin.
He needs a violin. Very strong hair game by DeStefano, as many
No,
players
here,
opted
what
for a
you're saying,
hat
you start
today.
2 hours later. which
That's
finished
gotta
2
feel
hours
good.
Earlier.
Oh yeah.
4 hours.
Especially when you're at the bottom. You start 2 hours later, you finish 4 out. What do you mean?
You're saying you want to stop earlier, like 2 hours earlier. But the tournament also starts 2 hours later.
Here's a look at David Coleman.
Well, yeah.
Graduated from
So you're
Rutgers,
behind 2 hours. It's not
degree
the
in
exact same.
finance.
When you come back the next
Go
day,
figure.
you're 2 hours. behind.
Former #1 ranked online
Well,
player in New
2
Jersey.
hours of play left, right?
I
And
guess
with the same
Cream
structure.
rises to the top,
Yeah.
Donnie. First you
It's
Yeah. Okay.
defeat
You
all
know
the
what I mean?
local heroes,
Yeah,
and then
I
you
couldn't
make
wrap
it
my
big
head
in Las
around
Vegas.
that
Sounds like the
anyway.
plot of a
It's
movie.
soft,
Like if we
Yeah.
capped it at 10
David
hours
Coleman,
on day
very,
one.
very good
Yeah,
player.
yeah, yeah. And you started 2 hours before the next tournament, but you're starting the next tournament 2 hours later, so it started 2 hours later. So that first day one, you're starting 2 hours later. You know what I mean?
Are you used,
Yeah,
get used to the bright lights, you
So
know?
it's you'd be 12 or 15 handed or whatever.
These players all very familiar with
You move my mic over.
playing under the
Far
bright
before
lights,
that.
as
Either way,
Zobian
just not in the middle.
mentioned.
I don't think it's a problem for like the stream or anything.
Probably not. Might be more
I
interesting.
mean, that's exactly what Triton does.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with streaming 15?
DeStefano applying the pressure,
Right.
and Jeremy Ausmus finds ace-queen offsuit on the button. Of course, Ausmus would rather wait out Saliba and Zobian, but Donnie, when you get a chance like this, you sort of have to go with it?
Yeah, I think Ausmus might ultimately go with this one. I mean, it's just a little bit too much of a hand. Ausmus also somebody I think is going to lean to play to win more so than just kind of ladder up with the ICMs. But
Wow.
uh-oh.
Oh my God, we have a three-way all-in potential. Sound the alarms. Michael Brinkenhoff finds pocket jacks in the big blind, and all of a sudden, he's faced with a really, really big decision. And look at this. Jacks go into the muck. Of course,
Big slick, huh?
pay jumps up for grabs. DeStefano here, trying to take out Ausmus with ace-5. Brinkenhoff, even though he folded, is going to be an eager spectator of what is to come here on the board. Here comes the flop. 10-9-8 would not have been a bad flop for pocket jacks. At this point, though, Ausmus 84% to double up here in the early goings. DeStefano just 3 outs to send Ausmus to the rail. Turn. Oh my God! The 5 on the turn.
Always the diamond
DeStefano hits the dagger. Jeremy Ausmus looking for a diamond, jack, or queen to stay alive in this event. There's still 14 outs. Here it is, the river. It's the 7 of spades. And Jeremy Ausmus, just like that, hand number 4, he is sent to the rail.
Do we get
I'm not sure whether that was three-way and
Have they been doing
37,800 is
what
the
is it? IC
payout
Somebody-
Ausmus will receive, but he'll be
Yeah.
dejected
He's 4.
about his result in this
Might be able
event.
When Dylan had
Sneak a
queen
little
deuce
off of his.
Wow.
When Dylan had queen
What a
3 off.
brutal turn
What's
card
that?
for Jeremy Ausmus.
Yeah.
The queen 9.
These are mine.
5, 8.
Yeah,
Honestly, you got really lucky.
DeStefano with a little
You
frown.
deserved that one, Dylan.
Of course,
Queen 9 deuce.
happy to
queen
see
Right ace.
a 5 on the turn.
Yeah.
And Ausmus shook to the core.
That was messed up.
Jack 9. One more, yep.
Ooh, the jack 9.
Donnie Brinkenhoff
Yeah, I think that's
would have hit a
sneaky
straight.
like the worst
He would have
Thought you might
sent
have
Ausmus
ace
to the
nine,
rail.
but
He
I
would have
also
doubled
thought
through
You'd probably call ace 9.
DeStefano. He would have been chip leader, basically.
going pre-flop for sure.
All right, now down to 6. Still 2 very short stacks. It's a very different scenario from yesterday's final table where the stacks were pretty
240.
deep. Here comes Zobian with the committing raise.
100 behind, 80 behind.
Started with 320.
All in.
Do you have walking
Wow.
sticks?
Saliba all in with pocket 5s.
Oh, worse than walking sticks.
What are walking sticks? Couple of walking sticks.
Those are the hockey sticks.
Snowmen.
Is it possible to chop?
I would take a chop.
These are the
ace,
two
king,
short
we
stacks
all
going
got
head to head.
Pretty hard to chop. Yeah.
Ace, king, queen,
Both
jack.
make a
so I
set.
feel
Chop?
good.
Not
yeah.
quite.
Fives are
Yeah, you could. No, not quite.
Both can't make straights.
All right, here comes the flop. Saliba at risk. King 3-8.
Always
Happy
the
with that
diamond
flop?
draw.
Saliba with backdoor diamonds.
10 of diamonds.
Happy with no
Exciting one.
Here comes the turn.
5.
The
and
3 of
window,
clubs.
you know?
Saliba now down to just 2 outs. A 5 and a 5 only
So I'm happy
will
with
keep
no
him
5
in
and
this
window.
event. Excuse me, Zobian actually, the short stack. I got my cards reversed there. River card, the deuce of clubs, and Zobian receiving a big double up, but Saliba all but eliminated, down to 2 big blinds. He's going to be all in very soon again. At least him being on the button makes it so that he gets a few free hands to look for something to go all in with.
Oh, you started with 360.
All right, we are 6-handed at the final table, already seeing plenty of action. We're only 5 hands in. This could be a very quick and exciting one. Here's a look at the updated final table chip counts presented by OccupyPoker.ai. Go give them a look if you have a chance. Zobian, despite doubling up, still only on 12 bigs. Seth Davis on 13 and Brinkenhoff on 16. Dylan DeStefano has almost 50% of the chips in play with 6 players remaining. What an absolutely
used to think it was a
dominant
bad
position to be in for
140
I thought it was
one of the
devil's
crushers
number,
here in
then
the
I
early
realized every number
2024.
belongs to God, so it doesn't matter.
DeStefano, of course, Donnie, he's encouraged to keep raising, but that might also lead to him being involved in quite a few all-ins with maybe some inferior hands.
Yeah, gamble it up. Try and get some chips, you know.
All in.
Make your way closer to that, what, 302 up top? $302,000 first place prize.
Here goes Seth Davies, King Jack of clubs.
I mean, these guys aren't holding back.
No, I mean,
Start.
I guess they heard these rumors
795?
about these events going very, very long and players missing registration for the next one, and maybe they just don't want to be in that situation. As Coleman here finds ace-queen of spades, I cannot see him folding this. This is such a strong hand. Don, he has to assume that DeStefano can be really wide here.
Yeah, I mean, and he already saw DeStefano once, you know, I mean, he jammed with the ace-5.
Damn it,
Wow.
Coleman.
Sorry?
Just a gamble there, man.
Oh,
Look at this.
Probably. Maybe it's supposed to
Surprising fold to me that Coleman lets go of the ace-queen of
Tight player.
spades.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably pretty close,
player.
to be honest.
Seth Davies from Bend, Oregon.
Maybe I was supposed to gamble.
Attended the University of Oregon. Elite pro at Run It Once. Donnie, is every single player that we cover
couple
at the
collisions
PokerGO
while I
Cup
sit here
some
free.
coach or trainer? Because I feel like that's on every single bio sheet.
I mean, the coaches / trainers have been performing extremely well.
You could
I
have
mean,
gone
once
two
again,
ladders, though.
PokerCoaching.com
Yeah.
well represented at this final table. You got Aram Zobian and Justin Saliba both here.
1.1 now, yep.
Is DeStefano just, yeah.
All in.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Donnie, his lead is so big, he does this stuff?
I mean, it is. It's quite a lead.
Ace?
Oh, aces.
Almost.
Wow, folds around. Zobian with, don't they call that a no-sider?
No sider, no sider.
Oh, there you go. I'm starting to understand how this sweating cards works.
6 flat yesterday with ace 30.
Yeah, that was lovely.
Especially with 2 sevens. I mean,
But again, based on how things were going, they probably would have ran out of straight and like just chopped.
Here's a look at DeStefano. He's not a poker coach. What the hell is going on? He graduated in golf management. What does that mean?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Like, are you managing players or like golf courses? Like, this is intriguing stuff. I need to know more about this. By the way, much love to everyone in the chat. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll turn it into a fun show today. We'll keep the banter going. It's raining in Vegas, so maybe it'll bring out some crazy behavior.
Very happy to get a weak hand there. very weak or very good.
DeStefano, 3.8 million chips. What an absolute mountain. Saliba on 2 bigs. All other players, of course, sort of with their hands tied right now until
This is $1 million right here.
Saliba hits the rail. Brinkenhoff bringing some aloha vibes here to the table. I must say, I'm a big fan of that sweater. These players happy to get some crappy hands right now because it just means they can quietly wait for Saliba to be all in.
Yeah, it's like $1 million.
He has no defense, right? You started the day with like 1-1, so yeah, you should have $1 million, yeah.
60,000.
DeStefano, 9-4 off, raising it up. Seth Davis under pressure. And he's just going to make the call. Davies started this hand with 18 big blinds, so he does have a little bit of room to maneuver as King, Queen, 9 rolls off with 2 diamonds, Donnie. What do we expect to see here?
Seth Davies probably win a pot. And he's got position. He's got the nut diamond draw as well. I mean, we'll see what sort of pressure DeStefano wants to put on him. DeStefano, of course, being the chip leader and the pre-flop raiser in this hand. $80,000 into 380 from DeStefano. Probably just see Davies come along with a call here. No need to get too crazy with just a flush draw. 10 on the turn.
I mean, if you're Davies, you're just feeling the pressure here. Even though this DeStefano is capable of having a very wide range, ultimately, it's your tournament life, not his, if this thing goes any further.
DeStefano slowing down here with a check.
In some universe, there's going to be a blank on the river here, and DeStefano is going to have the best hand with a pair of 9s, and that is exactly what happens. Now, DeStefano knows he has some form of showdown value. Seth Davies has to assume that he doesn't, right?
I would think so. I mean, maybe Davies does assign some sort of showdown value to that 3. Just think it's probably kind of hard to think you have the best of it here.
I mean, every combination of cards that includes a higher card has the potential to easily beat Seth Davies, and this might be one of those surrender spots where, with Saliba this short,
I can win.
9.
9, I can't beat.
and there it is. Davies does announce, I think I have a chance to win.
I mean, he had a chance.
He had a chance. The 3 could have been good. He beats some random ace-high combos. All right, still 6-handed. DeStefano continues to apply the pressure. Do you want to learn how to apply more pressure? Check out octopipoker.ai. Your path to poker mastery starts right there. It's free for a limited time only, and I know you guys love free stuff. So what are you waiting for? Go to octopipoker.ai, sign up right now, and start learning how you can be like Dylan DeStefano. You probably won't learn how to grow such lush locks, but you might learn a thing or two about applying pressure against the short stacks. Saliba here, he's going to be all in. He raised to 120K with King-Queen offsuit. Aram Zobian finds the chickadees, as Brad Owen refers them to as.
270.
And look at this. Everyone doing their own creative raising. Instead of going all in, Zobian 3-bets, and Seth Davis finds ace-jack offsuit. Perhaps just a bit of posturing, Donnie. I can't see him just rip this in here.
Yeah, ace-jack might just be
Started at 580.
a little bit on the outside of what Davies wants to come with here. Likely being up against 2 opponents, not just one. Okay, he's coming along.
Oh, wow. And Brinkenhoff finds 2 4s in the big blind. I mean, this is pretty tempting. I know it's a little bit out there, but this is pretty tempting.
I mean, Brinkenhoff might just feel like he's kind of priced in here to make this call. You know, closing the action here. I mean, Saliba's technically closing the action, but Saliba only has that 15K left, so. Brinkenhoff does have to commit a decent amount of chips, though, here for his stack size. Right, he is going to call. That call, Brinkenhoff putting in about 1/4 of his chips here, so if he can find a 4, and if he does, he's going to be feeling very, very good.
I mean, Saliba is going to be loving this because he has a chance to just instantly get back into it.
Yeah, and Saliba would be feeling great as well if he saw everyone's cards, because that king and queen are pretty live.
Yeah, maybe 105.
So now the dealer doing some math, separating the main from the side pot. We got Saliba all in with a chance to quadruple up. It's not often you get to say that. Davies, Brinkenhoff, and Zobian battling for a side pot.
Wow.
This could get out of hand, Donnie. I can think of some
145
flops where we see a lot of blood, so to say.
Ace-jack 4?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. Oh, there's the 4. Brinkenhoff hits a set. Zobian still with an overpair.
Have you heard of pudgy penguins?
Wow.
Why?
It's a good time to bring it up.
How is Zobian going to get rid of this? Brinkenhoff moves all in. Zobian makes the call. And Brinkenhoff with a chance to send 2 players to the rail. Zobian with the oh my god. He is not happy with this.
You're gonna win this, Justin.
Jack of spades.
I
Saliba
feel kind of good.
needs running cards.
You won't like the cards I had.
Zobian needs a jack.
Damn
He's
it.
got 2 outs.
He had spades.
I had the jack of spades.
Did you?
Oh, that doesn't make it too big.
Correct. Davies.
All right, well, let's just start with
Ace of spades. It's like a good
Backdoor
for everyone.
draws is all that Saliba can hope for. At least backdoor spades are live for him. Turn card, the 6 of hearts, and that basically just wrecks everyone. Unbelievable stuff here. Zobian looking for the last jack remaining in the deck. Brinkenhoff a card away from sending 2 players to the rail on the same hand. River card, the 10 of hearts,
See, buddy.
and that is it. We get a double knockout.
Look, guys.
You hardly
Nice,
ever see that.
So I get 4th, right?
I have no idea.
2 players
Good game.
to the rail. Justin Saliba
Not.
takes home $51,975 for finishing 6th. And then Aram Zobian, I hope we get to see his graphic too. He finishes in 5th place. Both players
Mr. Doc.
Nice hand.
must be
Sick.
a little upset here.
Yeah, that's a
70K
beautiful 4 to just
heading
pop
in
up there for you.
Zobian's direction.
That's the dream.
Donnie, Seth Davis probably the happiest man alive right now.
He was standing up there kind of like he was all in a way.
David, what you got? 1.3
I
or
think
something?
the happiest man alive
Start
is that
before
man right there,
posting.
Michael Brinkenhoff. Flops that 4, takes out 2 players, chips up quite nicely. And look at this leaderboard. Oh my god.
DeStefano still up top. 68 big blinds. Brinkenhoff in contention with 33 bigs. Coleman and Davies now the 2 shorter stacks. But all these players have already secured quite a few nice pay jumps. So there could be a sense of comfort now from players such as Coleman and Davis, because they already made those nice pay jumps happen here in the early goings. We're only 25 minutes into this final table, and so much has already happened. It's pretty incredible. If you want to get into the game yourself as well and start playing, do so right now on PokerGoPlay.com. Get into the action and start playing right now. Available on the Apple App Store and on Google Play. Damn. The blinds haven't even gone up yet. And it is already down to 4. Is this what you guys like in the chat when we have crazy final tables like this, or are you a bigger fan of more of the grindy format like we saw yesterday, where no player really wanted to go out, everyone really taking their time with every decision?
All right, I got 5.
Here's Brinkenhoff, founder of Athena Cosmetics, graduated University of Colorado. 624,000 in career tournament earnings. He's going to add a big pile to that today. Could even add 50% to that if he manages to win this. Over 300K up top. Here's a look at those payouts. 94,500 guaranteed for the final 4.
And somehow through like all of that chaos, Dylan DeStefano has maintained such a big chip lead that I feel like his aggression is still going to continue, right?
Yeah.
It's not like Brinkenhoff won and like now he's even with DeStefano. No, there's still a pretty big gap there. So DeStefano could very much apply a lot of pressure here, especially with Davies still sub 10 big blinds after he called with that ace-jack and then, of course, folded the flop.
Yeah, DeStefano, king-queen of spades. Very strong hand, four-handed. He's going to raise it up. Charger T in the chat says, action, baby. Don loves the crazy final tables, and so does Barrett. Lots of people in the chat
Well, this could
chiming
be
in.
action
And
right here.
there it is, Seth Davis with a real hand.
All but 5K goes into the middle here. 3-bet, just about all in.
DeStefano.
He's not all in, just saying.
Yeah, I got 1 left, so 545.
Right, so 400 more. It's more than half, right?
Is it?
Yeah. So I have seven.
Sure, whatever. I call. Is it right? I mean, what? Yeah, sure.
All right, DeStefano,
No big deal.
make sure that Davies is at risk.
So I made it 120. He made it for how much?
Well, that's 585.
This is why I hate when they don't just go all in.
465 total.
365.
No,
You made it
I made it 465 more, so you got to make it
465 more.
So you
How
got to
about
make it at
this?
least 230 more.
They just
What did you
decide to
make?
go all in or
Yeah.
not, and then we go.
What is going on here?
So that's good, right? No, wait, no,
This
it's
is so stupid.
not. Yeah, it's
Okay,
it's just
so that we'll just do it. So
a call, yeah.
Okay, so it's
We got
it's ruled that DeStefano, I think he tried to raise to put
Saying your hand.
Davies all in, but he didn't fully
this
put
guy
a raise
down.
amount out there, so it's ruled that he's just a call. So the
I'm
cards
all
are
in the
still
dark?
face down, and DeStefano's going to move all in the dark. Davies is going to call all in the dark.
All right, here's the King 8
Scam.
6 flop, and both players flop top pair. Davies, though, in a great position to double up. Turn card 9 of hearts.
See the queen?
Doesn't change a thing.
I would enjoy queen.
DeStefano
Did you have one?
Son of a-
has
nine
3
or
outs
two.
here.
You had a 9 and a 2?
Yep.
That's bad news.
DeStefano could send Davies to the rail. Only 3 outs, though. Davies in a great spot to double up. River card is the
You
9
won.
of
What
clubs.
am I doing?
You would have won.
Seth
Sick
Davies
fold, man.
doubles up.
You-
First little crack in the armor
We're back.
of Dylan DeStefano, but still maintains a very comfortable lead over the
585
rest of the
was the
field. But
number?
now we maybe have a real tournament. The shortest stack now, 18 big blinds.
You have 590. You had 590, right?
I think so, yeah.
Now you have 113.
1.3.
1.3 and a small blind, right? 1.33.
Well, math's hard. 133. Yeah.
I'm
DeStefano so far has won 6 hands at this final table. Off to a great start for him as well. Despite doubling up Davies, he's still up on the day. Michael Brinkenhoff has been quiet as far as the talk goes, but his chips have really done a lot of the talking for him, as David Coleman, #1 currently on the PGT leaderboard. $18 bigs for Coleman coming into this final table. His 6th cash in a PokerGO Cup event for David Coleman. Donnie, run some numbers for me. If Coleman wins this today, how will he look on the Cup standings?
Well, what I will tell you is that it's likely whoever wins it is going to be in first place on the Cup standings.
Wow.
Now, there is a little asterisk that I need to tell you about, is that out of these 4 players, there's 302 points up top, right? So that would overtake the 277 that Jonathan Little has on top. Now, in order to win the series leaderboard, be crowned the PokerGO Cup champion, and then earn that $25,000 bonus, you have to have 2 cashes.
Oh.
So, DeStefano, Davies, and Brinkenhoff, this is their first cash.
Oh.
So, if they move up on top, and if it somehow shakes out over the remaining events that they remain on top, well, I guess per the rules, they don't win. So then it would default to second place, right?
That's crazy.
Right now, Jonathan Little is up on top. He has 3 cashes. David Coleman has another cash. We saw him at another final table a couple days ago, right? He has 45 points from that finish. So if he were to win, he would go up to 347 total and be the front runner there. Of course, Coleman is also on top of the 2024 PGT leaderboard for the whole season, largely because of what he did at the PGT kickoff series a couple weeks ago. So he can really, extend that lead in terms of the overall season-long leaderboard. There are still 2 events to go. There's the second $15,000 buy-in event that's running on the outer tables in the studio right now. And then, of course, tomorrow starts the finale, the $25,000 buy-in event here at the PokerGO Cup. Both final tables from those 2 events, of course, streaming on PokerGO and here on the PokerGO YouTube channel.
DeStefano back to his raising ways. He's still going to continue to apply pressure as Brinkenhoff now finds pocket 8s. If 4s were good a few hands ago, 8s are definitely going to be very playable for him.
Yeah, I mean, if the players haven't picked up on it yet, I think now they really need to just be aware that Dylan DeStefano's opening with anything he wants, right? he's just in there firing away, much like he should, being such a big chip leader that he is. Just really put the pressure on these opponents. You have that coupled with the fact that Seth Davis, who was below 10 big blinds, just doubled up. So someone like a Brinkenhoff there, even a Coleman, can certainly be more willing to go with hands now, because I see him a little bit of a less concern with everyone being a little bit on the deeper side. I mean, of course, you do want to money up, yes, but also try and put yourself in a position to win.
1.25.
Thank you.
Brinkenhoff with a very playable 10-9 of diamonds. $130 is the raise from Brinkenhoff.
DeStefano makes the call here out of the big blind. King 7-5, all hearts here. The only heart belonging to DeStefano with that 8 of hearts.
Brinkenhoff continues here without a heart. DeStefano does have one. Looks as though he's going to come along here to see a turn card.
There is that heart. 9 of hearts on the turn. Locks this one up for DeStefano as long as he doesn't fold. Check, check, jack on the river.
DeStefano, of course, hopeful Brinkenhoff wants to take a stab at this, but maybe Brinkenhoff just done with it now. We'll see.
Probably pairing that 9, 4 hearts on board. I would guess Brinkenhoff's probably done with the hand. But we'll see. Maybe DeStefano comes with some sort of blocker bet here. 180 into 600.
Brinkenhoff just with a pair of 9s has to be aware that so many little things could beat him at this point. But perhaps he has some history with DeStefano. Perhaps he's seen him bluff, but does think the better of it and saves himself the chips. The rich get richer. Michael Brinkenhoff should be referred to as Dr.
No,
Brinkenhoff. Very famous ophthalmologist. Inventor of a serum, Donnie, that makes your eyelashes look better.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the original lash conditioning serum. He developed this for his wife, who's spent 25 years battling with cancer. And he developed this to make her feel good. Look good, feel good. Bit of a legend, Mr. Brinkenhoff.
Oh, thank you.
A little finder's fee.
Davies and Coleman tied, both with 18 bigs.
We're drawing for hands after this hand, right?
DeStefano lets go of his button for the first time in a long time. Davies going to try to play a flop against Brinkenhoff. Brinkenhoff says, "Not so fast there, buddy. I want to charge you a little bit more." Brinkenhoff gets to take it down. Davies gets a little bit shorter.
2?
We still got some events to come here at the PokerGO Cup. Today, another 15K kicks off, and then tomorrow, the 25K, the final event of the series, will get underway, and we're streaming those 2 final tables as well, of course. So while you're at it,
One,
please
one.
like
Okay.
today's video and
yeah.
subscribe to our channel. That way
Yeah,
you'll be kept in the know about everything that we have going on. Eights for DeStefano. Again, ultra monster,
All in.
given his stack size and given the sizes of the other players. And he decides to just pull the trigger, move all in. Ooh, Coleman, ace-5 of diamonds. Look at this reaction. Look at this reaction. Lets it go. Donnie, give me some pros and cons of that scenario that Coleman finds himself in.
Well, I think he's still pretty healthy. I mean, I know he's shorter in terms of the leaderboard, but he's still got 16, 17 big blinds to work with. So, you know, he's not terribly in some sort of danger zone where he needs to just fire it in with, like, you know, an ace-5 suited type of holding. I think he can wait. Now, what would have been interesting in that particular spot had DeStefano opened to a more normal sizing, maybe Coleman decides, you know, this is a good 3-bet jam spot, right? DeStefano's opening pretty wide. I got a nice candidate here, being the ace-5 suited, so could have played out differently had DeStefano taken a different approach pre-flop, but he elected to put it all in. Which ultimately allowed Coleman to get away from it.
Davies here raising it up with ace-9 offsuit, looking to pick up some blinds and antes. By the way, our chip leader DeStefano got his first win of his live tournament career at the PGT Last Chance just this year, event number 4, 10K no limit for 195K. He could make it two in 2 weeks after years of not winning a single event. DeStefano also participated in No Gamble, No Future. Played in the same lineup with Eric Persson, Patrick Antonius, Eric Hicks, and the man who goes by the name of Hanks.
Yeah, DeStefano plays a lot of cash here in Las Vegas. High-stake cash. Plays in Bobby's room quite a bit.
Blinds are up, 40K, 80K, with the 80K big blind ante. Donnie, the structure really putting the squeeze on these players already.
Yeah, I mean, also kind of the way it's all breaking out, right? The structure combined with the fact that DeStefano is like the only one who seems to be really increasing his stack by
All in.
decent amounts. I know Brinkenhoff is up on the day, Davies as well, but another example of that chip leader aggression there. DeStefano just all in against Davies' big blind. Remco, only 2 people have won 2 events so far on the PGT this season. One of them's at this table, David Coleman. The other one's Dylan Weissman.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So
Wiseman still grinding away at the PokerGO Cup as Coleman finds King Jack of diamonds.
520.
520,000.
Coleman committing more than half of his chips to this hand, signaling that he's not going anywhere. And Seth Davis finds ace-10 of spades. Donnie, you've studied the spots. You've ran the numbers. How does this one play out?
I think it's close. I know I say that often, but I do think it is. What I will add is that with the way Davies played the ace-jack off recently, you know, in what ultimately resulted in the double elimination of Saliba and Zobian, maybe he's more inclined to come with this one here. I can ultimately see him going either way, but he is going to call, yeah. I mean, it makes sense with what we've seen from him so far. And keep in mind that Davies did just call, so both these players, I mean, just about the same amount of chips back. Davies does cover slightly.
Wow, neither player hits a pair. I wonder who this favors. I mean, Coleman has literally no backdoors to speak of besides backdoor straight, perhaps. any sense in betting here for Coleman. He's got to give Davies some credit. He's not just calling off half a stack with just any hand.
Yeah, but he might think, you know, I have King Jack, so I'm blocking King Queen. King Queen he might put into that bucket of calling hands as Davies approached this one. A hand like an Ace Queen, he might say he might just 3-bet jam that, try and get that in. So Coleman might feel all right here.
9 on the turn. Now,
if you're Davies on the other side, right, you have Ace-10.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some queen combinations that are out there that Coleman can have. You also don't have any clubs. Okay, so, you know, puts some clubs into the hand of Coleman. So it's probably a little bit trickier for Davies in this spot, having to play the ace-high, also being out of position. Just given the way that it went pre-flop, these two might just ultimately like check it down, right? Coleman now does turn a gutter here. Check, check. 3 on the river. So if this goes to showdown, Davies is going to take it.
very intriguing hand. Such an odd raise size from Coleman. Probably him thinking, oh, this is going to get all in a lot of the times. And now we've arrived on the river. Coleman can't possibly think that he's going to win this hand by checking. He does check behind. Wow.
Yeah, and it might not be that he thought he'd be winning, but he might just think he's not getting Davies to fold.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, the ace-10 there might be a hand that Davies fold, the way it played out. You can certainly see him calling with the ace-high as well. And then maybe Davies has a lot of different pairs in his range that Coleman doesn't think he's ultimately going to be able to get Davies off of, so doesn't attempt to bluff there. And just going to save those, what, 5, 6 big blinds for a better opportunity.
DeStefano finds pocket eights. Coleman down to just 5 big blinds.
And DeStefano's going to like that result too, right? Because now it puts Coleman very short, which really handcuffs Davies and Brinkenhoff, right? Both of them have, you know, about 20 big blinds, a little bit over, so they're going to be really handcuffed in what they can do, especially with Coleman now being so short as he is.
All in.
DeStefano just getting it over with here. Brinkenhoff, king 9 off. Takes a little bit of a look at Coleman's stack. Coleman on 5 bigs. Very. It's extra painful to have 5 bigs and to be in the big blind.
Yeah, yeah, and find the 4 high. You just got to put it in the muck. I mean, what are you going to do? Stefano very much likes that result.
People over 4, 4.2 or something.
0.5. That's 2, 3. I got 4.2. Cool. Around. Give or take.
54% of the chips in play for Dylan DeStefano.
Thank you.
Same hand, 2 hands.
4 high again for Coleman.
4 high.
I mean, it's just,
What do I
what's
do
he going to
with
do, right?
I would
Stefano had
probably
aces.
Oh
the
my
big
God.
blind.
Wow.
You're right. Yep.
I mean,
Would've
Coleman's
been a really
lucky
good
he only
time.
found
Yeah.
4 high.
I know.
Or he'd be out in 4th place.
Is that what you had last time too?
Huh?
Is that what you had last time too?
Yeah, yeah. I had aces.
I mean,
Makes
might as
sense.
well
Back
have
to
aces.
back.
He had 8s. I mean, in his position, who cares? Let's go.
Have you heard about pudgy penguins, by the way? Have I mentioned? Best NFT in the world, by the way.
Wait, we're talking
Definitely
NFTs now?
How many
Not
did you buy
financial
last
advice. Not financial advice.
time? How much you trying to push?
Pretty
this
sure
thing out?
DeStefano brought this up during the last chance series as well. Must be big into
just
the
love the
NFT
art.
space. Maybe he started the
maybe
Pudgy Penguins project, and he's just,
Trying to sell.
trying to shill it to the community. Who knows?
Slightly less.
Oh man, NFTs are so
1.5.
2020.
I will say, Pudgy Penguins were hot when they started.
1.5,
Yeah.
8.
Then they dropped off severely. Floor price
1.5,
went pretty much through the floor into
Right.
the basement. But there's a resurgence
Oh boy.
with the Pudgy Penguins, so maybe he's trying to pump it up a little bit.
Have the NFTs gone full circle and they're already becoming nostalgic?
Maybe.
Is that how fast it goes? The cycle this
Maybe.
time?
On the spot.
I mean, he
for
needs like a Pudgy Penguin shirt or something.
Yeah.
If he's truly a
you.
believer.
No spot for me.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. This four-handed battle has me on pins and needles. I feel like any moment now we could see a four-way all-in of some kind with the way these stack sizes are. Justin Young still holds the record for most exciting tournament finish, busting both Kristen Foxen and this same guy here, David Coleman, on the very same hand.
Yeah, this 8-7 suited here. I mean, Coleman's just probably going to have to get his money in. He'd be pretty much forced all in the next hand from the big blind. He's only got 220K. He's going to put just about all of it out there. Even if someone does come along here, you got to figure that you have decent equity with the 8-7 of hearts, right? Could certainly be in a lot worse spots.
And here goes DeStefano putting everyone else all in. Brinkenhoff, king-queen offsuit. Perhaps a little tempting, but does...
Yeah, and that spot's interesting because, so Brinkenhoff knows that he, yeah, you can fold and hope that Coleman gets eliminated, but if you call, there's also a chance Coleman gets eliminated.
Right.
Right? So it's like...
There's a bigger chance he gets eliminated.
Yeah, so
actually.
it's kind of like you only have to beat him
right
in that hand. And if you think Coleman is doing what he's doing under the gun really short, then maybe you just go with it.
Ace,
Above
8,
average.
10, 2 hearts. Speak of an exciting flop. Pair of 8s for Coleman with a flush
Jack of
draw.
heart. Give him a tease.
DeStefano
What?
looking for a jack, queen, or 9, but it can't be a heart.
What are you talking?
Turn card, the king of hearts.
Dead.
Jack.
Flush for
There's
Coleman.
the jack of hearts.
And the jack of hearts also. Wait, did Brinkenhoff have the queen of hearts?
Don't think so. I think he had
220?
the queen of clubs.
That could have been a royal flush, or maybe I mistook that one. Producer Aiden shakes his head.
Bueno, man.
No missed royal. Okay, good to know.
Lovely.
He had the queen of spades. King of diamonds, queen of spades.
I'm back in it.
Yeah, good fold.
You had 220.
All right, we're still four-handed here inside the PokerGO studio. Here's a look at David Coleman's 2024. It is February 1st, and he has 8 cashes, 7 final tables, 3 wins, and $463,000 in earnings so far. He is, of course, #1 on the PGT standings right now. Well done, sir. Well done. Dylan DeStefano, by the way, not far behind. And if he wins this one today, he might be right up there as well. But Donnie, run the numbers for me. If DeStefano wins today, how far will he jump up as far as the PGT standings?
As far as the PGT, the overall
The
standings?
overall standings.
Well, he's got 69 points coming into today.
Okay, so not...
So he'll move up to the top. He'll be in the top 5, I think. Yeah, top 5. If Coleman wins, I mean, no.
I mean, if Coleman wins, it's basically over. Donnie, if you're Brinkenhoff here, are you just gonna sit back for a while? Because, you know, I feel like between Davies, Coleman, and DeStefano, they just seem to want to battle with each other.
Yeah, of course.
200,000.
He does come in with a raise here with the queen jack off. DeStefano gives it up. I mean, but if The double elimination hand when he had 2 4s is any evidence of how Brinkenhoff is going to approach this. I mean, he's not going to hold back.
That is a very good point. Yeah, let's not
He's
forget.
going to get involved.
Let's not forget how eager he was to get involved there. If you're with us in the chat, please let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if you're maybe enjoying a little bit of a beverage or a snack. Always trying to have a good time here on the stream. We're only an hour in. We've already seen so many all-ins. Stacks a little bit shorter. I do like this kind of poker, Donnie. This is every hand. There could be a big all-in. Every hand, it could be a massive decision. We're not in this territory where it's going to be a raise and a call, and then people just check it down. There's just too much on the line right now.
Coleman going to need to make something happen. He did fold the king 6 there, so this next hand very important for him because he'll be under the gun. And then it's the hand after that where he'll be forced into the big blind, so he'd have to commit 160K for sure to the pot. He's only got 440, so much like we saw when he had that 8-7 of hearts and he got the double up. Going to be a very important hand here for Coleman. Queen 6 off, though. I mean, it's brutal. You hate to see it. Listen, he made it through the blinds before with this sort of stack, so we'll see if he can do it again. Now this opens the door for DeStefano to just, yeah. I mean, didn't even need to look at his cards.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
just put it in.
You can just blind shove this.
Relax in the chat asking how old these players are. DeStefano right there with the long hair, 26.
That's so young.
I think he started growing his hair when he was born. Like, just hasn't cut it since. David Coleman, who is the short stack, he is 30. Seth Davis is 35. And then the elder statesman, Michael Brinkenhoff, is 75.
75. Looks very young and spry.
It looks good for 75, yeah, man. Hope I look that good when I'm 75.
Exactly. It is funny, Donnie. Like I was always the youngest guy in poker when I first started because I got into the live tournament scene as a reporter and also as a player when I was 21. And then I still sort of carry that feeling around, like I'm a young guy in poker. Meanwhile, I'm pushing 40, and Dylan DeStefano is 26, crushing these final tables.
It's like 3 total, right?
Time has passed me by.
4.5 bigs.
4.5 bigs for Coleman, and DeStefano is
Yep.
going to take the gamble.
Priced in after he put in that raise.
460.
360.
We know what Davies and Brinkenhoff are rooting for here. They're trying to get about a $38,000 pay jump right now.
Coleman at risk with ace-4. Basically a coin flip right here. And there's the flop. 3, deuce, 8, 2 clubs. Coleman with the wheel draw. Backdoor clubs. DeStefano.
Seems like a fair fight.
Yeah, it seems like a fair fight. DeStefano looking for a 9 or a 7.
Moderately nervous.
Does have that 9-7 hooking around the 8. Jack on the turn gives him a gut shot. A 10 would now also give him the win. Otherwise, Coleman is going to get 2 double ups in the span of 4 hands. River card is the deuce of spades, and Coleman stays in the hunt. He is now up to 10 big blinds, and now it's the territory where DeStefano has to look. You can't just blindly call off a 10 big blind shove. Davies and Brinkenhoff would have much rather have seen Coleman hit the rail.
$225,000.
$225, the raise from Brinkenhoff with that king 10 off. He's on the button. Chip leader Dylan DeStefano calls out of the big blind with 9-6 of diamonds. 2 diamonds on the ace 7 deuce flop. DeStefano checking here. Type of flop that Brinkenhoff may want to represent. No, he does not. Checks back. 4 on the turn. Could be an interesting spot here for DeStefano to try and take the lead. I mean, it's how often is Brinkenhoff going to be checking back with an ace here? If he does check back, so you have a lot of, you know, king highs, maybe some under pairs to the ace that I can ultimately barrel him off of. Of course, I got that diamond backing me up if it comes in on the river. DeStefano does come with 125,000 here. Brinkenhoff says no thank you, and DeStefano takes that one.
Alex in the chat says the Coleman coming in with the comeback.
Yep.
Definitely well on his way here.
900. 900 here.
Thanks.
Action folds to DeStefano in the small blind, and he's just going to put the pressure on Davies there. It's one of those spots where in the big blind, if you're Davies, every single time, it's almost like you want Brinkenhoff or Coleman to get involved, because if they don't, you know what's coming. You know it's folding to DeStefano, and he's just going to say, I'm all in. And then you just got to find it.
Exactly.
At least if Brinkenhoff, like, you know, comes in for a raise, maybe you can call, play a little bit of a pot here. But no, if those two fold, just it's open season for DeStefano. Might be open season here once again. Coleman out of the way.
All in.
There it is.
Yep, DeStefano just going to keep on shoving. And Davies, king, queen of spades. I mean, Coleman is shorter, but this gap might not be big enough. Or sorry, might not be small enough.
No, and this is just probably too good of a hand. You know Dylan's just doing this with anything. And Dylan, you know, he doesn't even hate if somebody comes along because, I mean, 7-6 of diamonds probably is all right.
Exactly. 7-6 versus king, queen of spades. Somehow a fair fight. 60-40. Let us know in the chat who you got. You want the small suited connectors or the big suited connectors? Ace, or excuse me, king, queen versus 7-6.
2 spades dead from Brinkenhoff's hand. Brinkenhoff also had a 7 though, and Coleman had a 6.
Here's the flop. Jack,
I had a jack, too.
6-3. Davies in a lot of trouble here. Now needs to hit.
The king of clubs. Either one.
Backdoor spades,
Either one
backdoor
of those.
straight possibility.
I'll take a 6 of spades.
Turn card. The 4 of diamonds.
That's no help.
It's very clear right now what he needs.
It's a king of clubs.
A king or a queen.
Of course.
DeStefano
Give you 40 to 1
about
on
to
the
send
start.
another
Call it.
one to the rail. Can Seth Davies find a way to survive? Show
Always
us that
looking for
river
that
card.
edge.
It's a
Oh,
king.
Dios mío,
God.
Oh, wow. Seth Davis drills it on the river.
180.
Yep.
You learned that from your trucker buddies?
That's a little classic truck guy move.
1.18.
Yep, that's right.
Shooter, shooter.
I mean, Donnie,
Did it the hard
this is
way.
worst case scenario for DeStefano. The guy on his direct left gets
We
the
dug our
double.
way out of there on the
A bit
river.
more scam than
And
you,
it's
probably.
Seth Davis too, who is
Worst bad beat in poker.
a very experienced, very skillful player. So you know he could
How you ever going to come back from that one?
dampen the plans for DeStefano a little bit here.
I'm sick.
But DeStefano does still have the chip lead. You know, he's still got 44% of the chips in play.
Yeah, 2.5.
It's almost like he can't believe it.
Well, you heard his outcry. He said, Dios mío. My Spanish isn't that great, but it's a cry for help almost.
740.
I'm out.
And look at that. David Coleman liking the fact that he just got to walk in the big blind. So
Wasn't Lady Gaga.
Huh?
Wasn't a Lady Gaga.
that hand right there. Now, I know
always
nothing
comes.
really happened and it was just a walk, but that's kind of evidence to now
now,
the
like,
changing of the dynamics
The
because
blues are all-
DeStefano
is it
just doesn't
1.1?
open there
So
because he
3.1
knows he has
or
Davies
3.4,
behind him with a much
yeah,
deeper
like
stack, right? So
3.5.
it just changes things a little bit. We saw him before. What did he open with when he doubled up Coleman the first time? Like Queen 9 or something like that? I don't even
Well, had
remember what it
9-7
was.
once.
Nine, like, you know, he's just now he can't just open everything.
Yeah. And now Seth Davies in a position to chip up as well, especially through Brinkenhoff and
180.
Coleman.
180,000.
We could see a bit of a heads-up match here, except for the fact that Brinkenhoff finds queens. I was going to say maybe a heads-up match between Davies and DeStefano while Coleman and Brinkenhoff wait for good spots. Well, this is exactly one of those good spots. Brinkenhoff, sitting on 12 big blinds, finds pocket queens. A little look over at the clock.
He's only got what 12 bigs, 13 bigs.
Oh, he's going to take his time here.
He put out 3 of them.
He prepaid. A little prepay action.
520.
520 with the 3-bet. Donnie, that looks strong. Coleman
I
tosses.
mean, this looks as strong as possible.
520,000.
DeStefano full of Jack Deuce. Action back on Davies.
You had it, right?
I have it right.
Why would you ever doubt him, Matthew?
That is a look of a relaxed man. And Davies lets go of his ace-jack. Now, do you think Brinkenhoff would have been better off just going all in to perhaps keep him guessing?
Yes. But maybe it weights the same with Brinkenhoff. I'm not sure. I mean, Davies is the one who's been playing with him for quite some time. But
You're not in there yet.
3-bet non-all-in, half your stack looks
Take a hand
extremely
off.
strong in this position.
All right.
Nonetheless, I mean, you might get the same result, right? No matter what.
About your small blind champ.
Coleman, Queen 10 of clubs. 10 big blinds on the button. Could see a shove here.
520.
520,000.
Yippee, yippee. What? Yippee.
Coleman again with a playable hand. Finds king jack off.
160.
160,000.
The stack gets bigger. The raise size gets smaller.
Yeah, he might just be putting this one into the raise fold category, depending on how it goes.
10 seconds.
DeStefano's going to come along here. Davies finds the ace-5 suited in the small blind. Davies now firmly second in chips.
All in.
All in.
Wow,
Look at this
Davies
recognition here.
all in with ace-5 of hearts. Picking on the boys, trying to play tricky poker. Quick fold from Coleman and a quick fold from DeStefano. And that is a huge pickup for Seth Davies without showdown. Brilliant stuff. Davies now on 2.7 million and almost tied with DeStefano at the top of the counts. Quite an impressive surge here from Seth Davies.
Yeah, really good recognition there from Davies.
6.5.
I think he pretty much nailed the situation perfectly.
If you're just tuning in, we are coming at you live from a very rainy Las Vegas. And guess what? It's raining in Vegas. I saw 2 car pileups on my drive into work. As soon as it starts raining, people forget how to drive. Or I guess we see the results of people not knowing how to drive. I guess they don't know how to drive normally anyway. Hope that everyone in California and Oregon and Washington is okay. The atmospheric river seems to be the talk of the town.
Another walk there for David Coleman. Sure he's not hating the walks that he's getting.
My dog hates going for walks when it's raining outside. Do your dogs go outside when it rains?
Daisy loves the rain. Can't get her to come inside.
If you want to come inside the PokerGO studio, you might as well just become an annual subscriber to PokerGO. Use $20 to save on your annual plan. Use PGT Dream 24 as the promo code because we are sending 10 annual subscribers to play in our PGT Championship Dream Seat Invitational. Yes, that's a whole lot of mouthful of words. What it basically comes down to is you get a chance to play in our $1 Million Championship free roll qualifier, which is going to be the night before here in the studio. You get to play under the same lights that the likes of a Daniel Negreanu and a Phil Hellmuth always play under. Could be a very special memory you can create as a poker fan. So become an annual sub and maybe we'll pull your name out of the hat.
Yeah, first drawing March 1st. There's going to be 10 drawings. Every drawing taking place on, I believe it's the 1st of every month, starting with that first one on March 1st. So it pays to get in now. You can also couple that with the fact that we got a new season of High Stakes Poker premiering on February 19th, and that is exclusively on PokerGO. Season 12 of High Stakes Poker. Phil Locke is back, his first time since Season 7, being back on the High Stakes Poker set. So if you guys want to watch the new season of that iconic show and also get into our annual subscriber giveaway, you know what to do. Let's go. Aces again. We saw DeStefano get aces before and he got a walk. This time he gets to play them. And he gets to go up against the man who's closest to him on the leaderboard, and that is Seth Davies here in the big blind. This is a pretty good spot here for DeStefano to pick up such a good hand. Oh, and look at Davies showing some discipline. Doesn't get involved.
Huh?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Could have easily saw Davies flat that in position there. The 8-7 off is pretty playable. Both those players are deep. He elects to just fold it, which is fine as well. And dodges a couple bullets, Phil Hellmuth style.
Here's a look at event 7, 15K no limit hold'em. The legends on your screen right now. I see Nick Schulman. I see Dan Smith, Daniel Negreanu, David Peters, Chris Brewer in the house. A who's who of the high stakes scene inside the studio. The 15K final table of event number 7 is streaming tomorrow on our YouTube, Twitch, and PokerGo page. Coleman finds jacks. This comeback is not over yet. David Coleman was down to 2 big blinds, and depending on how this plays out, he might be back up to 3rd in chips.
Yeah, Brinkenhoff's going to see a flop here, calling with the queen-4 off from the big blind. Top set here for Coleman, Jack 8-3 rainbow.
Wow.
Could be a check back spot for Coleman here. We'll see how he wants to proceed.
Looks like Coleman is going to continue to bet.
Yeah, minimum bet here. Brinkenhoff's got absolutely nothing, so I can't imagine him calling. Yeah,
No.
just into the muck he goes.
But still a very nice chip up here from Coleman again. I mean, when you're running hot and you're playing well, things sometimes just work out for you, and this unlikely comeback is sort of the real telltale sign of that. The chat is saying, no, check. He should have given Brinkenhoff a chance to catch up, perhaps.
And if there was ever a spot to check back, I think that would be it.
DeStefano, King 4 of hearts. The shortest stack
much
now.
is Seth?
Coleman still in the big blind.
5.
Coleman back down below $1 million. Wacko Maza says, any tips for cheap hotels during the Global Poker Awards? Still considering visiting Las Vegas. I mean, I feel as though the regular hotel websites will always show you the good deals. Generally, unless the Super Bowl or the Formula One is going on, hotel rooms should not be crazy expensive if you're willing to maybe walk 10 to 15 minutes to get to Aria. There's definitely lots of options. Personally,
I've had some like unreal hands in the big blind.
I'm a fan of
You've got him like
staying a bit
6
off the strip if I have a car.
Obviously not.
I've had aces twice today. 6-7 suited once, queen 9 off once. And
A bunch of dog shit that you played anyways.
I don't play the cards, I play the player.
Yeah. Smart.
DeStefano is old school. He doesn't need cards. Just plays the player.
This is, how many hands are we doing?
This is left.
This is hand 2.
2, yeah. 10 seconds.
Okay.
$175.
Raise here from Brinkenhoff with the 10-9 of clubs.
Payouts to this event can be found in our YouTube description. Final four guaranteed $94,400.
DeStefano thinking about this one here with the king six of diamonds. Wonder if he's thinking about coming with a 3-bet. Oh, he elects to fold. Ace-8 of clubs for Davies in the big blind. Curious if there's any sort of sizing tell these players are thinking of. Brinkenhoff's been going a little bit larger. You know, I think he's been raised to 225 during this level. Now he comes in for 175, so wonder if that's something that's playing into the minds of the players. Davies makes the call, and queen, queen 5 here. Check, check. King on the turn.
We're doing a color up, you said? We're doing a color up? What you got?
295, so 275.
275, right?
Yeah. It confirm. You got it. You got it.
Yep, good.
300,000.
300,000 is the bet from Davies. Brinkenhoff does have a gutter. He does have position, but it's a fold there from Brinkenhoff,
time,
and
right?
Davies
Break time.
takes that one.
Still four-handed here with 2 short stacks and 2 big stacks currently at this table. We're going to show you a quick little break after looking at these chip counts. And while we go on I think it's a 1-minute break. While we go on the 1-minute break, please check out octopipoker.ai. You can sign up for free and go check it out. We'll be back in about 1 minute.
If you're looking to host and film a poker tournament or just a company gathering, the PokerGO studio, located in the heart of the Las Vegas Strip, can seamlessly host your event. With its state-of-the-art control room and a tournament area that fits up to 14 poker tables, there's nothing else in the Las Vegas Strip quite like the PokerGO studio. Order up and have the day and night of your life.
Let's shuffle up and deal!
For more information, contact us at events@pokergo.com.
Welcome back to rainy Las Vegas. The Event 6 final table of the 2024 PokerGO Cup continues. We have 4 players in contention still for the title and that first place prize of over $300,000. Jeff Platt and Brent Hanks are on the call on PokerGO.com. My name is Remco Rinkema. Donnie Peters alongside me. Let's have some fun with this. Let's see if anyone can take down Dylan DeStefano. He's been chip leader for the duration of this final table, but Seth Davis is charging up the ranks. The final 4 guaranteed $94,500. $132,000 is the next jump, so quite a nice little pay jump here going from 4th to 3rd. Let us know in the chat who you are rooting for. Blinds are now 50K, 100K with 100K big blind ante. Average stack, just 19 big blinds.
10 seconds.
DeStefano from Milford, Connecticut originally. Has won PokerGO Tour title to his name and $1.4 million in live tournament earnings. He's quickly building quite the tournament resume for himself. Off to this hot start here in 2024, 6 final tables. It's always fun to think of the moment where Steven Chidwick became a household name, where Jason Kuhn became a household name as Michael Brinkenhoff moves all in with ace-9 offsuit. DeStefano is going to toss queen 8 into the muck. And I feel as though we're watching that moment unfold right now. I feel like we're watching that moment for David Coleman. We're watching that moment for Dylan DeStefano. Those two players, to me, are so much on my radar the last 30 days, and I can only imagine they're going to keep grinding here in 2024. And, you know, for years to come, those guys will be on the tip of our tongue when we discuss perhaps the most successful, perhaps some of the most well-studied players that are playing on the PGT. And it's always cool to see new names really solidify themselves at the highest level, and I think it's cool to add those two names to the mix for the entire duration of 2024 and well beyond. Pooper in the chat says, I would root for DeStefano, but I refuse to root for the chip leader, so I'm rooting for Brinkenhoff. There is something fun about rooting for the short stack. Coleman here on 6 big blinds is going to need to make something happen real soon. Donnie, 5 bigs, 7-5 of diamonds. No, 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 no. What's the sort of the worst hand you expect Coleman to shove there into the blinds?
I mean, 10-9 suited, 9-8 suited maybe.
DeStefano has been all about the pressure, but sometimes perhaps you shift back just one gear just to make sure you don't make any missteps.
Yeah, I think he's just got to tone it down a little bit, given the position that Davies is now in and the stack size that Davies has. But with his fold on the button, it opens the door for Davies to attack Brinkenhoff.
Wow. Brinkenhoff, who's played conservatively, is going to snap this off with ace-9 offsuit, and Seth Davis in a tough position here.
Huh? Gone winner read.
Brinkenhoff looks mighty pleased. Here's the flop, queen, 3-5.
Bad fold.
Brinkenhoff making sure there's no trouble out there for him. Davies can hit runner wheel, runner spade, but for now, excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong cards here. He's totally safe. Brinkenhoff totally safe. Just needs to fade a jack or a 6. What am I talking about? Brinkenhoff, 1 card away from a big double up.
The suspense.
River card. Deuce of diamonds. Brinkenhoff up to 2.2 million. Davies now one of the short stacks. Lots of maneuvering going on here, and especially with those points in mind, Donnie, one little pay jump could be the difference between being in contention and needing a win in the 25K.
Oh, yes.
$1,050,000.
Dylan says, I feel like they're playing in a library. Where'd the conversation go? Donnie, you know better than anyone that it takes a certain player to be at the final table to spur conversation and to make things a bit more lively.
Yeah, I mean, Not a lot of people talk in general when they play poker. I mean, yeah, of course, some people talk. Also, like, you get to this juncture of the tournament, I mean, it's more about the focus, you know, less about a home game with your buddies.
Right.
Like, that's just the vibe. That's how it is.
10 seconds.
All in. Call.
Wow. A raise, a shove, and a call. DeStefano raising it up. Is that kings?
Looks like a couple kings there, yeah. King of spades, king of diamonds, yes.
Oh, boy. David Coleman in a world of hurt. He is all in with king 9 versus the kings of DeStefano. Coleman probably thinking, maybe a queen jack something.
That's good.
Excuse me? Queen jack something indeed. Queen jack 6 for...
Well, what's the turn, Remco?
The turn is a 10. I mean, it has to be. The turn has to be a 10. Coleman has 4 outs. Turn card.
Oh, yeah.
Is a 10!
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What's happening?
I'm going to go gambling
yeah.
tonight. Who wants to come with? I know exactly which cards are going to
How do I
come.
do it, Seth?
Double guns, dude. Dude, I told you I should have like 12 million chips in this tournament. I've lost, like, every
DeStefano
single one.
in shock. I'm probably in the
not
most
even
shocked.
12 million
You
chips
won't
in
lose this
play.
one yet.
Oh my God. DeStefano drawing to a chop. River card.
lost.
The 3 of diamonds.
550.
How much?
550.
You lost, he said. Oh my God. That was hysterical. David Coleman was down to 2 bigs. Has been on a bit of a roller
That's how
coaster
you win. That's how you get it done.
and drills the straight on the turn.
You're a great poker player.
You can read his lips saying, "What is happening?" And there it
See
is.
that? Run out?
Finger guns for
It
David
looked like
Coleman.
greatness to me.
Yeah, Seth Davis did the finger guns earlier.
My girlfriend was like at a main event Saturday in Cyprus.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those milestone ones, and she was a small blind away. She gets in kings to king 9 and loses on the queen jack 10. Like, same thing. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, hopefully queen jack doesn't come out.
That's brutal.
225 times.
Queen Jack for Seth Davies here. He's on 13 bigs. Josh in the chat is asking me for the Powerball numbers. I mean, I might as well have to go buy a ticket or something.
What should you start with?
1.4.
DeStefano, king 7 offsuit. Lets this one go for a change. Despite Coleman doubling up 4 times, he's still the short stack. That's how short he was.
Double up, get short again. Double up, get short again. I mean, not that he's doubling up to a ton of chips here.
Oh
Couple
my
of kings again.
God.
He's had aces twice. Now this is his second time with kings.
I mean,
The first time he had aces, he got a walk. Second time he didn't get any action. He raised from the small blind. Seth Davies folded. Then he took that bad beat with the kings that we just saw. Now he has kings again. I mean, he's picking up hands, but it just hasn't kind of been breaking his way. But he still has maintained the chip lead and done pretty well for himself here.
wow. And here comes Seth Davies with the call.
Yeah, the king's going to hold up this time.
Jack and a mystery card. I wonder if that's the king that DeStefano just had. 9-6-4 on this flop. DeStefano also has the king of hearts, making him feel even better about the situation.
I wonder if that other card is a 9 for Davies. Maybe the 9 of spades. Gives him top pair. Creates a little action on this board here.
What do you think Davies has?
Nothing. Maybe jacks. He just Just called, then
Yeah,
just
just-
folded the 9-high flop. No.
Donnie, you should not play your cards. You should play the player. You should make your reads and go with it. I remember when I used to, way back in the day, read Mike Caro's Book of Tells. I was thinking about it so much, trying to pick up on tells, look for things, and then, you know, a while later I learned that, for the most part, it's better to just focus on your actual play.
Yeah.
Let me know in the chat, like, what was the first poker book you read? I got two. I got Mike Caro's Book of Tells, and I got Harrington on Hold'em. Those are my first two poker books that I got. I think it was 2005 or 6 when I got into poker.
Winning Low Limit Hold'em by Lee Jones.
Legend. Lee Jones. Did you play a lot of Limit Hold'em?
No. I mean, I've played a lot of Limit Hold'em in my life. Not like a ton, but probably more than most poker players out there.
Davies shoves on Brinkenhoff's big blind and gets it done. Shoves like these bring the bottom three closer together. Davies. King 3 off. That's going to end up in the muck. I feel the tension is pretty high at this table. The three players not named Dylan and DeStefano sort of all very much near each other. Here's a look at our final table chip counts presented by OctopiPoker.ai. Like I mentioned, the bottom three very close together. Dylan DeStefano still holding a comfortable lead, but any of those other stacks could do some serious damage to his. So it basically still is anyone's game here at the final table. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to take this thing down, as we're going to be right here with you until we have a winner in this event. We've had some exciting hands already play out. DeStefano still on top. Got some books here in the chat. The Theory of Poker by Sklansky. Power Hold'em Strategy by D-Nex. I have that book actually signed, Donnie. I got that with my my FPP points.
Actually, the
signed Negreanu book. Way back when.
Yeah,
Phil Gordon's
they don't
Little
have
Green Book.
the one that I like
Harrington
here,
on Hold'em.
But it was like a maple
The Tournament
blueberry
Formula.
one. It's really good.
Super System, says Grand King. Classic. I feel like Super System 2 is a must-read, even to this day.
That's okay.
Maybe the Hold'em stuff doesn't apply as much
The blueberry
anymore
ones?
as it does
Again,
to
for
the other games. But if you want to learn, you know, stud and the draw games and stuff,
I wouldn't
still
even know where to buy
lots
them
to be
if I
learned
was
from
looking for 'em.
good old Super System. 7-6 of hearts for Brinkenhoff. He races to 200K. And Coleman continuing with that comeback potentially. Finds pocket queens.
800.
800,000.
Action folds around to Brinkenhoff. Ooh, is he thinking of something here, Donnie? He seems interested.
I think maybe just posturing.
10 seconds.
I know that 7-6 suited is. Oh, well, never mind.
Wow. Brinkenhoff makes the call. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see a flop.
I'm still bitter about the 8-9. I thought I was going to win.
Coleman with queens is only 450K behind. Here's the flop. Queen, Jack 4. Top set for David Coleman.
I like watching.
Davies and DeStefano are watching it on the big screen.
Have you played in the
Second
Smaller
time
one?
Coleman's
Yeah.
flopped top set
Not
against Brinkenhoff. He did it before with jacks, and when he did that,
Less
he
bright
came with
lights.
a very small bet. He bet the minimum,
Less
bet one
bright
big
lights?
blind.
Like
That
that.
was a
Yeah,
single
man.
raise pot, of course. Here he elects to check.
So it's cool how they can stream everything now instead of just like
Yeah,
'cause last year they just kind of did some stuff off stream, but now they're gonna do everything on stream, I guess.
Yeah, that's great.
And look at this. Brinkenhoff hoping he can get away with something here, but Coleman moves all in, throws in the check raise, and that is only a little teeny tiny bit on top.
150K more. I mean, but if you're Brinkenhoff, you got 7 high and
Wow.
nothing but backdoor draws.
Brutal situation for Brinkenhoff. So many chips already committed, and he lets it go. And David Coleman with the double up, basically. Wow.
All the money was in.
No showdown. David Coleman up to 2.5 million. He now second in chips.
I'll take 2
And
pairs
Donnie,
from you.
the two
Just no lemon.
hottest running
Just
players
caps on.
of the year so far are 1 and 2 in this tournament.
They are.
Just a walk.
2 black queens, my friend.
I mean, who was it in the chat that was calling for the comeback for Coleman? Because, I mean, it's here. He's second in chips. Not that far off of Dylan DeStefano.
I mean, if you think about the pay jumps, it's just crazy
Oh, yeah.
that Coleman is still in the hunt
Telling you the truth.
with this stack that he has.
I feel like you got a lot of your humor from that show.
It's like a 100K difference between 4th and 2nd.
I'm still floored by that hand.
Look
that
at
just
Coleman's
played out.
smile. Coleman is now realizing that he probably just made himself 100K.
Well, you know. Can't be that much.
Looks pretty close. Dude, I think you have 2.7.
No. $255.
Coleman now very comfortable, doesn't have to make any moves. And here's DeStefano finding ace-king, as if getting aces twice and kings twice wasn't enough. He adds ace-king to his list as well. Coming in with the small raise here. Davies finds nothing. Brinkenhoff with Jack-8. Oh, look at this. Brinkenhoff with Jack-8 offsuit is just going to go for it. His final 6 big blinds, and he's going to be at risk versus DeStefano. Brinkenhoff, 34% to get himself a double up. He's just going to go for it here. 1.5 million in the middle. Here's the flop. Jack 3 deuce, exactly what the doctor ordered. Brinkenhoff finds top pair. DeStefano now looking for an ace or a king. Turn card, 4 of clubs.
Now a 5.
Yeah. We've seen crazier things happen
Coleman.
at this final table. Ace, king, or 5 for
I'm hoping
DeStefano.
for a 5.
River card is a 5.
Good game.
Oh my God. These hands have been crazy. Brinkenhoff eliminated. DeStefano makes a wheel.
Let me just take a look.
He hit a straight.
Brinkenhoff just verifying
Oh, I did
the damage done
Yeah.
to him.
Good game.
He takes home
Nice job.
$94,500 for his efforts. Well done, Dr. Brinkenhoff. We are down to the final 3 here at this final table. DeStefano, Coleman, and Seth Davis are going to battle it out for the title here. And here's a look at our updated chip counts presented by OccupyPoker.ai. Go check them out, though. OccupyPoker.ai. Free sign up available right now. Learn a lot about your poker game. perhaps you learn more about Negreanu's poker game as well. Back inside the room here. King Jack off for Davies.
Yeah, just over 12 big blinds for him, so this might find itself into the middle. There's a dead small blind on this hand. Stefano already got out of the way. Cole might call.
I don't think there's a chance.
I think he said, I don't think there's a chance I'm folding. He does make the call. Here we go. Davies
Wow.
at risk.
Back-to-back all-in showdowns.
1, 2, 2, 5,
Seth Davies at risk
1,
with
2.
King Jack. Coleman ahead here with ace-4 of hearts.
King Jack and a couple of fresh Perriers. I got King Jack and a couple of fresh Perriers.
Choose
Good
that.
luck.
Jack King off.
You naughty boy.
Huh? He's jacking off.
All right, here comes the flop. 3, 7, 5, 2 diamonds. Seth Davies shakes his head. This is not what he was hoping for. Davies looking for a king or a jack. Backdoor is going to be very difficult for him unless he can find a chop of some kind. The queen of diamonds is not going to help him. He's looking for a king or a jack, or else
That king and
we'll be down to heads-up play between the two most successful players of the year so far.
Calling it.
Using your one time?
I'm using it. Seth plays too big to use the one time here.
All right, here comes the river. The deuce
Do I
of
win?
diamonds, and
straight.
David
I lost.
Coleman
All right.
is going to
boys,
send
good
Seth
job.
Davies to the rail.
One round.
Donnie, I was spot
Move
on.
down so I can look
Coleman made an extra 100K
All right, GG.
with his little comeback there.
Look at
Seth
your
Davies takes home
screensaver on your phone. Why not use your
132,300.
screensaver on your phone?
And we got the two big guns
Don't
from
feel flat
2024 heads up for the title here inside the PokerGO studio. We are not going on break. We're just showing you the chip counts as we will dive straight into the heads-up action. The stacks are virtually tied after DeStefano led for most of this final table. Who you got in this heads-up battle? Who do you think is going to win this thing? This has been a very exciting final table, Donnie. I'm thoroughly impressed.
DeStefano's been up on top the entire time. Don't think he was overtaken at all. I know Seth Davies got close a little bit of the time. David Coleman is close now. Coleman, of course, was battling as the short stack for quite a bit. You know, he's had to double up, what, 4 times, maybe 5 times? But here he is, heads up. David Coleman on the left here. Going to DeStefano with the long hair on the right. That's David Coleman right there.
Yeah, Donnie, like I said before, Coleman at his 7th final table of the year, DeStefano at his 6th final table of the year. Absolutely insane. Here's a look at Coleman as both players admire their big faces on the wall. Donnie, it is a bit surreal, though, if you're in there, how big this LED wall is and how cool it looks to see your own face on there.
Of course, you know, and you see it there when your head's up. You're playing for a lot of prize money. You're playing for a prestigious title. You got through a pretty elite field of competitors to get to this point. So, yeah, it feels really good. And listen, both these players have been in the winner's circle before within the studio, but this is one of our majors. So it means a little bit more. It's also a 15K buy-in. It's not just a 10K or a 5K. So again, it means a little bit more, right?
I put a poll in the chat. By the way, if you're enjoying the content, please like the video. Only on 200 likes for today. We're lagging behind a little bit. But the chat thinks that Coleman is going to take this thing down, basically like completing the comeback trifecta, if you will. I think he's probably doubled up like 6 times. And now he finds himself heads up, guaranteed a payout of $189,000. $302,000 up top for the winner, Donnie. We're playing heads up for well over $100,000.
We are. What, 113, 114K is the difference between first and second place. Of course, some valuable PGT leaderboard points, both for the full season and for the series leaderboard. DeStefano here, first hand of heads-up play. He's got a pair of 5s, but Coleman sitting there with trip queens. Coleman limped in on the button. DeStefano checked. Check on the flop. DeStefano now checking again on the turn. We'll see if Coleman here with this 3 of a kind. Gonna start putting some money into the pot. Maybe try and get some value here on the turn and the river. So 2 streets worth. Does come with a minimum bet, 100,000. You know, we've talked about it before, I'll say it again, but when you're heads up in a tournament or just heads up in a cash game or whatever it may be, those more marginal hands, they go up in value. So would expect DeStefano here to at least call. He does just that. Ace on the river. $100,000 bet from DeStefano. Probably a little bit of a blocker here. Of course, we can see Coleman is sitting there with one of those queens for trips, so see how he wants to proceed.
10 seconds.
800.
800,000.
There is the raise.
It's like the first time that DeStefano has not had the best hand.
Yeah, and unless DeStefano finds some way to blow Coleman off this hand, Coleman's going to ultimately win this one and move into the chip lead, which would be the first time that DeStefano did not have the chip lead. Even if DeStefano folds here, spot's big enough to give Coleman the lead. If he calls, of course, that lead will be a little bit bigger.
The chat is already salivating at the idea that Coleman is going to go from 2 big blinds to being the chip leader.
DeStefano does elect to give it up, and David Coleman rakes in the first pot of heads-up play, and it moves him up into the chip lead. Coleman approaching 4.2 million in chips. DeStefano sitting with 3.7 million, so still a pretty close race here. 100K big blind. Button limp here from DeStefano with the king 9 and 2 aces for Coleman.
What is
This
happening?
one could get pretty interesting. King 9 is a pretty good hand here. Heads up play. Not that I necessarily think, you know, they'd be inclined to get this in pre-flop, but raise here, of course, from Coleman, and I could see DeStefano defending here in position.
And it's a hefty raise to 400K. That is a...
Yeah, a little bit larger here, being out of position. You know, you don't want to allow him to flat like really everything, kind of put yourself in no man's land. You have aces, of course. DeStefano does make the call, so here we go.
8-4-6. Donnie, saving grace here for DeStefano that he didn't flop a pair.
Yeah, but also, I mean, can be tricky to play these low kind of connected boards when you have a big overpair like Coleman does. Again, out of position is never fun to be in poker, right? You always want to be in position whenever you can. Not that Coleman, of course, isn't good enough to maneuver this spot, but might not want to just go too crazy here, play a massive pot with what is ultimately one pair. Yes, it's the best one pair, but still just one pair. He does take what appears to be a cautious approach here and checks the flop. Bet of 275 here from DeStefano.
Everything is coming up David Coleman right now. I could not think of a better run going from 2 big blinds to now having a chance to take a commanding lead during heads-up play. And if DeStefano keeps bluffing at this, this could get really ugly.
Yeah, I think this turn card here could be in favor of DeStefano. I mean, not, of course, for his direct holding, although he does pick up a gutter here, but I think if he's going to continue bluffing, this is probably a good card to represent and put a hand just like Coleman has, those big overpairs in a very tricky situation. DeStefano does come again, just about 1/3 pot here, 500K.
Wow. DeStefano giving it away. Of course, Coleman is not always going to show up here with aces, but the timing of his bluffing right here, so unfortunate. Everything heading into Coleman's direction. Donnie, and do you need to show aggression if you're Coleman, or are you happy to just let DeStefano bet at it?
Well, I think given the way that this board is running out this type of texture, you're probably just going to go into check called mode, and you have ultimately what is a bluff catcher in this spot, You don't beat a 7, that makes a straight. There's a lot of 2-pair combinations, right? So it's a tricky spot here for Coleman. He does check again here on this Jack of Diamonds river card, so he's best. He's got the check mark, but again, he has to get to a showdown. DeStefano has bluffed flop and turn here. Is he going to come with another barrel here on the river? DeStefano has the shortest stack between the two, just over 2.5 remaining. There's 2.45 out there. Here he comes. Look at this, Remco.
Wow. DeStefano moves all in.
I think he's got 25K behind.
Oh my God, 25K behind. I mean, that is about as close to all in as possible. And now Coleman with a massive decision with pocket aces. Of course, a 7 makes a straight. We can never discount that.
This is one of those hands where, if DeStefano wins it or if he loses it, I think you got to tip your cap to him for carrying through with a bluff like this. On the other side, if Coleman's able to find this call,
wow,
he does.
Makes the call. And King High, no good here. Aces for Coleman. He shows it down and wins this one. Donnie, should he have gone all in to end it here?
Whatever.
DeStefano left with 50K. According to my screen here, that is 0.6% of the remaining chips. And Coleman, of course,
go straight to the flop here.
Extremely happy. And DeStefano has one small blind left, so he's going to be all in. Hey, we spoke about the epic Coleman comeback. This comeback would be even more epic if DeStefano can win the next 5 hands in a row.
Yeah, I wonder if you should ultimately go all in there. I mean, it's probably easy for us to say, hindsight being 2020, we can, of course, see the cards, but you got to figure, the times when you are best, you might as well just take that extra 50K to eliminate your opponent and prevent any sort of miracle comeback, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, that makes sense to me.
The miracle is the only thing that can help Dylan DeStefano right now. He's all in with 6-5. Coleman has Jack-10 suited, so the best hand again here. Queen 6-4, and DeStefano now.
If you win this, win the next one, you have 300.
I'm tilted.
Seems fine.
Oh boy. Oh, 5 on the turn.
Scoop.
Look at this.
That's one for me.
DeStefano.
Why didn't I just wait for this hand? Why didn't I just wait till I had a good hand to go all in?
Big blind Annie. This could escalate quick.
Wow.
Still use the boxes.
DeStefano. Still in it. 6-5. I love how he's looking as if he's got a huge decision to make.
I'm all in.
I'll match.
Very imposing and impressive
This is
from
a good hand for me.
DeStefano. He's going to need to win a whole lot of hands here. But hey, Coleman did it from 2 bigs. Why can't DeStefano do it from 1 small blind?
Yeah.
All right, here comes
His
the
win.
flop. King 8, deuce 2
I'm drawing
diamonds.
dead.
Now Coleman
No, he's not.
really close.
Gonna be hard for DeStefano to win this one.
Yeah, he needs a non-diamond 6 or 5
Diamonds.
turn card. The 6 of diamonds, and that'll do it. David Coleman makes an insane comeback from 2 big blinds. He is stoked.
Where's the Stella?
He is stoked, and he wishes he had a Stella, just like Daniel Negreanu did when he won the Cup 2 years ago.
Okay.
DeStefano goes from chip leader to
Where?
runner-up, takes home 189K. And Coleman is our champion today, completing that epic comeback. He takes home 302,400, but he's not really going home. He's going straight into event number 7 as Coleman will look to try and close this out and win the 2024 PokerGO Cup. He's looking at the final standings presented by OccupyPoker.ai. What a final table this was. What a roller coaster this was. First career PokerGO Cup win for DeStefano. A nice, clean 2-hour final table. Let's do this again tomorrow as Coleman has a huge lead going into the final 2 events. Look at this guy. He's loving it. I absolutely love to see it. A little bit of emotion here, a little kiss on the trophy. Maybe he'll use it as a card protector for event number 7. Thanks again so much for watching. My name is Rem Korinkama. Donnie Peters was alongside me. On your way out the door, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow, we're back with more action at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central European Time. That's also a time in Australia. I can't remember what the time zones are. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Maybe Negreanu, Dan Smith, Nick Schulman at tomorrow's final table because they are all in the mix in event number 7. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.